Hi, my name is Christoph and welcome to the Quick City Workshop. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I've built for myself. This was in the beginning when I set up my studio. I made this work table. I'm sure you've seen some of it in my previous videos. I never showed how I built it, but when I made it, I used an old door frame. It's made of Oregon pine. And when I built it, I quickly decided to make the one end different because the end I decided to make a vise out of the end. So all I did is I embedded 2 nuts in the wood, and I've added this piece of wood and the two big threaded rods coming out, thinking that it's going to be useful for me, and I've used it 1 or 2 times, but because of this problem that I have, problem is that it's a lot of effort to put something into this vise, due to the fact that it's just 2 threaded rods and I have to crank each side independently. And also, if I open it, this piece of wood is completely loose, as you can see here. So in this video I'm gonna fix this, and what I want to do is I want to use bicycle parts. I've got a lot of extra used gears and chains, and I want to see if I can make something for this vise to make it more functionable and easier for me to work with. So maybe then I'll use it more. Also solving the problem that if I open this, if I turn this, I want the outer jaw to move with the threaded rod. Threaded rods are very long. They go into about 1 meter, so this vise can really open wide, which I really like. What I need to find is sprockets that I can put one there and one here, and then run a chain from the one to the other side, and having what I want to do is one sprocket at the bottom that drives everything. So I'll make it in such a way that I have a fast speed down here to quickly move it, and then when I want to crank it tighter, I'm still going to use this handle. I like this handle. I made it for this. It's also bicycle parts. This is one of the pedals of a bicycle, and I just changed this into I put an old socket there that fits over those nuts. So this way I also won't have a handle sticking out here when I want to work, where I can bump myself. So I can use it, crank it, tighten it, and I'll find a nice place to store that. You can understand why I want to improve this. So let's start. Let's see what I have. First things, I want to use these small sprockets around here. I think they're going to work perfectly there. I'm going to put them between the 2 nuts. So I've taken this out. So the first thing I want to do is on the inside here I want to make this hole bigger to take a nut that's countersunk in here. So I'm just gonna cut 2 pieces of wood and plug it up so that I can drill the holes bigger. I think this drill will work nicely. So I'm gonna put a plug there. Now that this is done, I also want to make those holes, the holes a bit bigger, because I want to put a sleeve in to protect the wood from being eaten up by this threaded rod. So at the same time, although this wood is strong and thick, if I really put a lot of pressure on this, this wood bends a little bit. So I want to also reinforce it with a metal thing that I actually already made. Basically, the threaded rod will go through these pieces of tubing. I've cut a hole right through, and I've made this adjustable tension, so if I tension these bolts up, it'll actually bow this in a little bit to compensate a little bit to give this wood extra strength in the middle. So these will go like that, and the wood will be in between there. So I need to drill them to the size of this tubing. Here is the bracket, and I've got the bearing. I've got the bearing and the axle together with the gear, and this will be the nut that I'll use to adjust the vise. So I'm not going to put this in yet. I'm first going to screw this to that, like there. get the center of this. This is 990. So it's I'm going to use these screws to screw it in. And just a tip that I always, with these type of screws, what I do is I take a grinder and I just grind a little notch out of that part there. As you can see, it really helps to not split the wood. It's almost like cutting the thread this way. You actually buy screws like this, but a lot of times they don't come in this type of screw with that. So a small tip for you. Very sturdy, and now I can put this in like that. It will need some more persuasion to get it in. I don't want to force it too much. I think I need to use G-clamps to pull it in. So I had to weld this nut to the shaft so that it can't move. I just give it one nice big weld. If I ever have to change anything, I can just grind that off. So those extra two sprockets, I had to put them there to tension the chain and to make it so that it doesn't slip around this, so that there's more teeth that engages the chain. Because if I just run the chain straight around here, it slips. So I needed to put these extra sprockets in, and it's very easy then to tension the cable. And I was lucky that these bearings that I had lying around, they've got a 10mm inner and exactly the right size for these sprockets to fit in like that. And I didn't want to add any heat to the bearing, so I just used some super glue, and it seems to be holding super glue and baking soda. You don't see that from the back. And then this is just a block of wood, some holes drilled through, and one big hole, 10mm hole through, and 2 nuts. So that is all. That was the easiest solution for making these tensioners. And then I had some problems with the chain slipping off, and I added these little washers there. And that's basically, that's it. Altogether, I'm very happy how it came out. It's still a work in progress. There's some issues with the secondary crank. If I try to put it on the middle, it is too hard for me to crank. I noticed also that the threads are very stiff, so I think I'll have to disassemble everything and make sure that these threads are worked in well. Maybe just run them back and forth with a drill until they are smooth. And yeah, maybe I'll make a second video if I do all those upgrades. But for now, I can use the vise. Don't have to crank this side and that side, and the jaw moves with the thread. So I'm very happy with that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.